Thank you for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. I'm Ephraim Graham. Ahead today, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in the U.S. today for an important meeting with President Donald Trump. On the agenda, the president's new tariffs, which are hitting Israel as well as other countries. The two leaders also expected to discuss how to deal with Iran's nuclear threat and the increased military cooperation between the United States and Israel in the Middle East. CBN's Middle East Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell will bring us that story plus analysis. Here at home, deadly storms, including tornadoes, bringing heavy rains, flooding throughout the central and southern part of the country, with a reported 19 people dead, and some cities are ordering evacuations. And it's a city of refuge in an unexpected place, an open-air drug market in the nation of Colombia. We're going to show you how a Christian ministry is providing shelter and hope to those in need. All those stories and more are ahead right now on CBN NewsWatch.
This is CBN NewsWatch.
We begin a busy Monday with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's visit to the White House for a high-stakes meeting with President Donald Trump. The main reason is said to be the president's new tariffs on Israel, along with how to deal with the threat from Iran when it comes to nuclear weapons. CBN Middle East Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell brings us the story. He's reporting from Jerusalem.
On Sunday, Netanyahu met with U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick to discuss the 17% tariff the U.S. placed on Israel. He addressed those tariffs as he left for the U.S. after a 4-day state visit to Hungary.
And I can tell you that I'm the first international leader, the first foreign leader to meet with President Trump on an issue that is so important to the Israeli economy.
On Monday, Netanyahu plans to meet with President Trump in the Oval Office, followed by public statements and a joint press conference. At the top of the agenda, Iran. President Trump called it the obvious subject.
There's a lot of things going on with the Middle East right now that have to be silenced.
Netanyahu also put the regime in Tehran on the agenda. Iran's nuclear threat is growing as it steps up its production of enriched uranium. The IAEA says it's just a short step away from having enough weapons-grade material for 5 or 6 nuclear weapons. The concern over Iran intensified when Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz revealed intercepted Hamas internal documents that link Iran to the October 7th terror attacks launched by Hamas. Katz says the documents found in a Hamas tunnel prove Iran financed Hamas's plan to annihilate Israel. The terror group's slain former leaders, Yahya Sinwar and Mohammed Deif, asked a top Iranian military commander for $500 million. As Katz put it, this is definitive proof of Iran's support for Hamas's plan to destroy Israel and for the October 7th massacre. Under the heading, The Destruction of Israel, the letter appealed for the money to uproot this deformed entity, Israel, and meet in a liberated Jerusalem. Also, in a show of military coordination, the U.S. has quietly transferred another THAAD missile battery to Israel, one of its most advanced air defense systems. American officials say the move is intended to protect against a possible retaliatory strike from Iran if the U.S. and Israel decide to target Iran's nuclear facilities directly. U.S. military threats may also be leading Iranian-backed proxies in Iraq to back down. Reuters reports several Iraqi militias are ready to lay down their arms after U.S. officials warned Baghdad they might be targeted for attack. The White House meeting comes at a critical moment, with both nations weighing the risks of confronting Iran and the cost of inaction. Netanyahu's visit could shape the next steps in the region, diplomatically, militarily, and even prophetically.
Chris Mitchell joins us now from Jerusalem with more. So, Chris, Axios reported Friday in its story about Netanyahu's visit to the White House. Netanyahu thinks the chances of a U.S.-Iran nuclear deal are extremely low and wants to reach an understanding with Trump about striking Iran's nuclear facilities when diplomacy fails. But we also hear that Iran may be willing to engage in talks about its nuclear program. What is the word there in Israel?
Well, I think the word in here in Israel is that there's very little or no trust in Iran's negotiations. Israel knows that the many powers had negotiated, including the United States, the so-called JCPOA, They violated those agreements. They are committed to destroy Israel. And here in Israel, they believe that Iran is continued to committed to their nuclear program. I think there's a sense here as well, Ephraim, that there is a window right now to destroy Iran's nuclear site, especially now that they have the backing of the Trump administration. But I think they're concerned that maybe these talks about actually direct talks with Iran, maybe just Iran's willingness to try to delay the situation and buy more time. Many people hear what's happening right now, that destroying Iran's nuclear facilities is not just a strategic necessity, but a moral imperative. And right now, there was a commentator that said there's an atomic Auschwitz about 1,000 miles away from Israel, and with breakout time just days away. I think the sense here in Israel, Ephraim, is it's a window to go ahead and destroy the nuclear sites like it has been talked about for probably almost 20 years.
Chris, Iran is not the only threat in the Middle East. What are some of the other hotspots in the region?
Well, Ephraim, if you look at the region, it's really just on fire in so many ways. You have Hezbollah in Lebanon is continuing to do what it can in southern Lebanon, in the capital Beirut. We know that the U.S. representative is there right now, and apparently, reportedly giving a deadline that Hezbollah will need to be disarmed by the Lebanese army, or they may let Israel do the job. Further south, you have the Houthi missiles launches in Yemen. Even so, even with the U.S. campaign to destroy all those Houthi missiles, some are still being fired off. Also in Syria, there's militia activity right on the border of Israel. Some of these militias threatening Israel itself. And so then you have Iran itself. So if you look at Hezbollah, and of course you have Hamas there in Gaza. So many of these hotspots throughout the region right now.
Chris, what can you tell us about the U.S. building up its forces in the Middle East and the reasoning behind it?
Well, I think the main reason would have to be Iran and the Houthis. Certainly the preparation for a possible strike against Iran's nuclear facilities, but also this ongoing, almost daily campaign to eliminate the Houthis as a threat to Israel and also global shipping in the Red Sea. So this is the buildup is all a background and a backdrop to the meeting today in the White House with Netanyahu and Trump. The buildup is the biggest in years. It really sends a strong signal to Iran. You have two carrier groups in the region, a third on the way. You have F-15s, F-16s, all these designed throughout the region in Jordan, Saudi Arabia, UAE, and Qatar. We understand thousands of U.S. troops have been put on heightened alert. You have rapid deployment forces. So you have all this combined right now to send a signal to Iran, and also possible preparations for a strike against Iran's nuclear facilities.
What is Israel's new policy in the war in Gaza, and what are the implications?
Well, they're putting together security zones. In other words, they're clearing out areas and not allowing any of the Gazans go back in there. This is a change in what their policy had been before. They're also seemingly dividing up the Gaza Strip. They had their Netzarim corridor, which is right in the middle, dividing north and south. There's also another security zone that they put in, and they're increasing their military pressure, all designed to put pressure to destroy Hamas, but also to help free the hostages, whether or not those two goals are compatible, because Hamas is using the hostages as their final leverage against their final demise.
President Trump's tariffs on Israel are said to be the main reason for Netanyahu's visit to the White House today. What is the feeling in Israel, and how significant are those tariffs on Israel's economy?
Well, right now, some people estimate it could be $2.5 billion impact on the economy right now. It's one reason why Netanyahu said he's going to use all diplomatic and economic measures to change those tariffs. The Manufacturers Association of Israel said it could hit 18,000 to 26,000 jobs, but we'll see what happens to these negotiations that are ongoing in Washington.
Indeed. Our CBN News Middle East Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell, thank you for your insight today. Looking forward to hearing from you in the days ahead as the situation unfolds. Coming up here at home, deadly flooding and powerful storms, including tornadoes, hitting multiple states as a dangerous weather system continues to strike the central and southern part of the United States. We're going to bring you a look at the damage and deaths we've seen so far. We've got the story for you when we come back. You're watching CBN NewsWatch.
Introducing a brand new way to start your morning. Get your daily quick start from CBN News. A quick read on the important news of the day delivered right to your inbox. Stay current on breaking news, politics, and entertainment. Discover how God is moving around the world and here at home. Plus, get exclusive stories and daily scripture encouragement just for you. Stay informed. Go to quickstart.news and subscribe today.
Heavy rain and tornadoes that killed at least 19 people are sending rivers to near record levels and flooding parts of the South and Midwest. More flash floods expected in the eastern part of the country as well. Dale Hurd is on the story.
After more than 90 tornadoes ripped through the nation's heartland,
the water is just rushing so fast.
Pounding rains brought dangerous and deadly flooding. In Mississippi, residents say emergency text warnings gave them just seconds to escape with their lives.
Without it, my daughter and my grandson would have been in that room right there where there's no wall anymore.
Parts of Arkansas got more than a foot of rain. First responders in Texarkana were wading through floodwaters to rescue people from cars. On this family farm, cattle were trying to find higher ground. In Grand Saline, Texas, this man sheltered in his bathroom while the wall of his bedroom was ripped off.
I just imagine the pressure that it took to rip that whole wall off the side of the house.
The town of Hopkinsville, Kentucky, underwater. At least a dozen people had to be rescued from their homes. Cities ordered evacuations, and rescue crews in inflatable boats checked on residents in Kentucky and Tennessee, while utilities shut off power and gas in a region stretching from Texas to Ohio. In Dyersburg, Tennessee, residents gathered in this shelter after the town received a third tornado warning Saturday afternoon.
We decided to come here just to make sure we were safe from the tornado.
Fast-moving heavy rains are now bringing the threat of flash flooding to the east. Among the dead, a 9-year-old boy in Kentucky who drowned while waiting for a school bus, and a 5-year-old Arkansas boy killed when a tree fell on his family's home. Dale Hurd, CBN News.
Still ahead, we'll take you to a city of refuge in a most unusual place, the middle of an open-air drug market. We'll go to Hell Street in the nation of Colombia to see a team delivering much-needed shelter and hope. That story is coming up right after this. More than 100 million people around the world don't have a home. In Colombia, the crisis is compounded by drug addiction, poverty, and a steady flow of migrants. In the city of Medellin, a Christian ministry is providing shelter for as many homeless people as possible and caring for those still living on the streets. CBN's Brody Carter takes us to the city of refuge.
It's the #1 destination for Venezuelan migrants fleeing from economic collapse and political instability. Thousands arriving here, seeking for food, water, shelter, and stability. Many of them are experiencing homelessness and exploitation.
Not only the homeless, but also the migrants, the displaced people. I don't know if you heard, we have people coming from Catatumbo into Medellin, displaced because of the guerrillas. So it's becoming a bigger crisis than in the 90s.
Colombia is home to about 3 million Venezuelan migrants, a number that could likely triple by the end of this year.
Nothing will happen. They're in fact protected to do this. Sometimes the police comes, they don't do anything because they don't have a budget to help them. Sometimes the government don't have enough money, and sometimes because they don't know how to help them.
On top of that, close to 7 million Colombians have no home in their own country. It's a crisis continually fueled by economic struggles and ongoing conflict. And on the streets, those worlds collide.
They come here because drugs are so cheap, and they end up falling into drugs. Some of them dying of overdose.
For more than 30 years, Douglas Calvano with Fundación Ciudad Refugio has served Medellin's homeless. This open-air drug market, a stark symbol of the crisis and the challenge faced by Calvano.
This is where the government is pushing all the homeless. This is a culture within a culture.
Each week, staff and volunteers drive into the darkest corners of the city to serve as a light for those living on the street. This is how it all started for Ciudad Refugio, or the City of Refuge. Right now you're witnessing an event called Pan y Panela. They're handing out bread and sugar water for the prostitutes, drug addicts, and the homeless. They've got nowhere to go. Right now we're in an area called the Bronx. This is also called Hell Street. And their future really holds in their own hands. Whether or not they get arrested is still to be seen. Some of them might die tonight.
If you wind up in the Bronx, it's because you're at the end of your rope. You're at the worst of the worst in your life.
Harry Dietrich never imagined living in Colombia, helping lead a ministry like this. Originally from New Jersey, Harry moved to Bogota with his family almost 20 years ago. Their mission? Find where God is working and join him. Today, Dietrich oversees Ciudad Refugio's operations, from the shelter to events reaching into Medellin's most dangerous neighborhoods.
Some, nothing happened. Some others, they're touched. Some, they want to receive Christ. Some, they want to come back with us. You'll see some of these people knocking at the door tomorrow morning.
Back at their downtown headquarters, the work continues. Each night, dozens line up outside, hoping for a safe place to rest. Before entering, they must pass security checks for drugs and weapons. Those willing to follow the rules are given a mattress to sleep on the floor.
Many of the homeless are just looking for a roof, looking for a bed, looking for a meal. But if they have any type of a heart for the Lord or for restoration fully, we'll take them in and get them going in the program as soon as possible.
A program designed to restore the whole person, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. A storefront bakery integrates the ministry with the city, while also teaching job skills to those in rehab. They achieve a 65% success rate, significantly higher than most programs.
When I come here, I was sure I would die. And I was planning maybe 3 or 4 months more alive because I was really sick. When I come here, everything starts to change inside of me.
At his lowest point as a former addict and alcoholic, Jason Marin found transformation here 6 years ago.
We have the women's program as well, and if they're below school age, many times the child will come into the program with the woman. But then we also do like a vacation Bible school every Saturday, and most of those people are Venezuelan moms with their kids.
Since I was 14 years old, I went to church, but I gave myself to things I shouldn't have. I gave my life to money and alcohol, and I clung to them.
Camila Gomez, 26, lost custody of her daughter, Jocelyn, due to addiction. Through the ministry, she found food, housing, and work. Today, she's sober and reunited with her daughter. In the basement, their church, known as The Cave, welcomes those rejected by society. Here, each story is marked by a miracle, creating the opportunity to reconnect and rebuild.
For me, it has been something supernatural. It is very beautiful to see how God is transforming our minds and our hearts every day, first of all. He's touching the deepest part of our hearts. It has been the deepest thing in our hearts, and it makes us understand that the only thing that can save us is Him.
The ministry is growing, with the goal to house more men, women, and missionaries while taking their model to other cities.
I think the church is awakening to the fact that the gospel is not just what we preach from the platform. We need to do things for people. People are tired of the right message, the right sermon. They want to see the gospel on the streets. They want to see the church moving where the need is. That, I would say that is happening in Colombia, thank God.
The real restoration is not just to stop for use drugs. It's to start to enjoy the life, to love the people, to be a good example for the people around you, show the gospel. The love Jesus showed you, show the same love for the people.
Ciudad Refugio is a testament to the power of a life transformed by faith, even in the darkest of places. And as the need grows, so does its mission, pointing others to the cross and the importance of serving as a refuge. Reporting in Medellin, Colombia, Brody Carter, CBN News.
We'll be right back with an encouraging word for your day ahead. Stay with us.
Download the CBN News app, 24/7 news from a Christian perspective at home or on the road. One place for all of your news. Breaking news alerts. Set daily prayer goals and pray for news stories. Read the most important news and watch CBN News Channel live. CBN News, because truth matters. Go to cbnnewsapp.com to get the app today.
Stolness, host of the CBN News podcast, DC Debrief. I'd love for you to join me each Friday morning for the inside scoop on Washington politics. We will talk to experts, lawmakers, newsmakers, and analysts to help us take a deep dive into the important stories you might not hear anywhere else. Don't miss this unique CBN News perspective coming to you straight from the nation's capital, because truth matters.
Welcome back. Time now for your Monday motivation. And today I leave you with this word of encouragement. Fully rely on God in every decision. And here's just one of many reasons why. Every choice you make is honoring where you came from or compromising where you are going. With God at the center, there is no wrong decision. Seek Him. There is no task too small and no mountain too great. He wants it all. That will do it for this edition of CBN NewsWatch. You can always find more of our news programs on the CBN News channel. You can find them there at any time as well as online. That address is cbnnews.com. Take a moment. Let us know what you think about the stories you've seen here today or any day. You can email us, newswatch@cbn.com. We'll see you right back here, same time tomorrow. Goodbye and God bless.